Hello, friends. One of the most difficult things is to cultivate the attribute of truth. I mean, we live in a world of exaggeration. It's easy to exaggerate and very, very difficult to get people, including ourselves, including yours truly, to speak the truth. There's a wonderful story told from the Ben Ish Chai about a king who had a very wise prime minister who wanted the best for the people. And in his travels, he realized that many of the people of the country were not telling the truth. So he went over to the king and he said, "Your Majesty, people don't understand the importance of telling truth. They tell lies, and for them it's natural. They think it's not a problem. They don't understand that it's a terrible injustice. What we have to do is actually create a law that whoever tells a lie will be punished severely. In fact, the death penalty should be put on such a person. When people will realize that the death penalty is put on for capital crimes such as murder and adultery and treason and telling a lie, they'll begin to understand the severity of lying." And the king said, "Well, let's try it." And sure enough, they promulgated such a law and spread it out, and people were pretty shocked that the king feels that lying is so terrible, and they all resolved to tell the truth as much as humanly possible. Well, the fable goes that one time a person, just because he promulgated such a law doesn't mean that people change their character. And there was a thief who was once caught breaking into a home. When they asked him, "Did you break into someone's home?" he, of course, denied it. Came two witnesses who claimed to have seen it. And this man was now convicted not only of thievery, but of telling a lie. Well, the ordinary punishment for thievery was to pay back and get a good trashing. But now, he was going to be put to death, and that would be a lesson for all of the people. In order to give this a much greater strength, they invited the king and the prime minister to witness the result of their law. Well, there were many people watching, the gallows were prepared, and as they lead out the condemned man, he asked for a private audience as a last wish to talk to the king. They granted him, and he's brought in front of the king, and the king almost knew what he was going to say before he said it. He assumed that he would beg for mercy, but instead, the fellow did not ask for mercy at all. He said, "Your Majesty, I am concerned about my impending execution. You see, I know a secret which is of great benefit, and if I die without relating this secret to someone, the empire will be losing something." And they were both intrigued. "What do you know that has an effect on the empire?" He says, "I grew up young amongst the gypsies, and there was an old man, a magician, who taught me a special formula. He said that if you put a seed into the ground, it takes a long time for it to sprout. But he knows a special formula that if you just say the words, this seed will begin to sprout immediately as soon as water is put on it." Well, the king was very intrigued. "Is that really true?" He said, "Yes, it is really true. However, in order for this speech to be effective, the charm has to be uttered from someone who has never lied. So now the mouth is powerful and the charm would work." He says, "Your Majesty, I know the charm, but it won't work because I lied. However, I don't want to die without telling someone else the charm, so I'd like to tell the charm over to the prime minister." Well, the king was very, very interested, and he said, can you actually demonstrate this?" He said, "Absolutely." And they quickly brought a pot of soil, they brought some seeds, they brought a little water, and he puts the seed into the soil, he pours the water, and now he says to the prime minister, "This is what you have to say in order to make it grow." And the prime minister's face turned red with embarrassment, and he said, "Your Majesty, it won't work by me." "Why not?" So, "Well, of course I'm an honest man and I believe in the importance of always telling the truth, but I can't say I never told a lie. So what's the use of me uttering this charm the same way the thief cannot do it, neither can I. So the king looked disdainfully at his prime minister, to which the thief then turned to his majesty and said, Your Majesty, I am sure if we were to take anyone from the outside, they would have to confess to having told the lie at least once in their lifetime. But you put out this law. Obviously you're on a level you've never told a lie. Perhaps I could teach you the charm, and then we could all experience this the effect of it. Of course, now it was the turn of the king to be embarrassed. And he said, yes, I am an honest, majestic person, but who could claim never to have told the truth? Only the truth? And the thief then said, Your Majesty, if someone as great as yourself and your learned vice prime minister have not been consistent in telling the truth, what do you want from a person like me? Can't you be lenient? And of course the king received the rebuke and pardoned him and revoked the law. Now it's a clever ruse from the thief, and I believe the most obvious of the story, the lesson is that everyone tells a lie at least occasionally. Perhaps there's also an indirect lesson, and that is, were we to truly keep our mouth clean and to be perfectly honest, maybe we would be able to get things to grow in a supernatural way. So my friends, if we all agree that we should not tell a lie, and that telling the truth is the right thing to do, and at the same time we acknowledge the almost impossibility of being consistently always telling the truth, what are we to do? Well, I look into the Bible. The Bible says, Midvar sheker tirchak, distance yourself from a lie, from a falsehood. And I would like to suggest a possible explanation of the wording, distance yourself. You see, when you think about lying, it always comes together with something that you can't tell the truth. For example, if a kid is cutting class and is then asked by his parents, where were you? What's he going to say? The truth? He has to hide what he did, so he'll create a lie. Why did you skip class? Well, he'll have to create another lie. But if a person was in class and is asked, where were you? He says, well, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was in school. I was studying. You don't have to lie. Think about it. If you're doing what's appropriate and someone is asking you, what are you doing? Why are you doing? Where are you doing it? You have no problem. Tell the truth. It's only when we have something to hide or something that we're ashamed of that immediately we have to create some type of a distance between us and that place and that action. And that distance very conveniently is called a lie. So why did you do this and this? Well, he got me upset. Well, I wasn't feeling well. All lies, because we're scared to say the truth, because I'm not a nice person and I lost my temper and I owe him an apology. So perhaps that's what the Torah is hinting to. Not only should you not tell a lie, but distance yourself from a lie. Keep away from activities that might necessitate a lie. And now we're given this injunction. None of us that I know have always told the truth. And it's something that we're constantly working on. But it's certainly within our potential to try to do activities where we won't even want to lie, where we'll be proud of our activities, and why lie when we could say the truth. Let's hope and pray that we utilize our time and resources wisely and effectively. And by default, by doing so, we will never have to tell a lie again. Shalom.